Hello Facebook, hello YouTube, hello Instagram, wherever you're watching. So I'm hopping on to say hello with a cup of tea, end of a long week. So I haven't planned any kind of topic, nothing specific. I just wanted to, just see what comes out. And just to say hello. Yeah, nothing planned. So say hello if you're joining me live. Just here for a chit chat. Say hello if you are catching the replay, or I can always comment back later. I'm always happy to see who's joining me and who's tuning in even later. So yeah, I'm not feeling the best right now actually. I've got like definitely coming down with something. I can feel my throat, my ears, my head. I've got sniffles, so I'm not feeling brilliant. Hello Wisteria, hello, and happy Thanksgiving to you for yesterday. Hope you had a lovely celebration, whatever you were doing. So I feel like I'm really under the weather. And we had another hospital visit yesterday. So yeah, that's kind of, when you sort of plan your day or your week and you have a little plot twist that comes in. So yeah, Michael was unwell again. So I know we shared that on a previous, I think, was he live with me last week? I can't even remember. I think it was last week. So yeah, he was feeling unwell again. So this time we had to go straight to, we went straight into A&E, and yeah, it was just a nightmare. It was a nightmare place to be, accident and emergency here in the UK. I'm sure you have your own stuff wherever you are in the world. So yeah, we were there for like 6 hours again, and this was with, supposed he needs to be seen like now. Anyway, it was just a nightmare. So what I felt, again, it was like picking up the energy, and I definitely, being in that environment doesn't do my system in a very positive way. Like I can really feel the heaviness, I can feel the ugh, and I definitely picked up some stuff. So I'm just feeling a little under the weather, but in my spirit I'm good. So that was happening. And it was just very draining. It was very draining. So I think as I'm saying that, there's always a message that comes through, but what's really coming through right now is reminding you, maybe if you need to receive this reminder, that it's okay. Like, it's okay when things come up and you don't feel like the best, right? You don't feel the most magical. You don't feel like you're floating on air, because there's a lot in the spiritual world, in the personal development world as well, that puts so much pressure on everyone to kind of be happy, love and light, and that is, of course, the preference. But I can't tell you the number of people I've had, they've become a client of mine, and we've had sessions where there is this almost this fear of like feeling what we really feel, right? We've been so programmed into that is negative, you shouldn't be thinking that, you need to get out of that. And actually part of kind of raising your frequency and shifting your consciousness is it's how do you deal with the stuff when it doesn't go right. To me, that's what it's always been. Like, okay, it's all very well feeling magical and good when things are on track, and I love that feeling, but that's not enough. It's like, what do we do when we have plot twists, right? Or when something has happened in life, maybe with another person, or something that was just unexpected, or life just throws a little curveball or a big curveball. What do we do then? So that's a really important thing, because I think people there's a lot, I just find it a lot with people I work with, like, bless them, they come in and there's this fear of, oh, can I go there? Can I actually feel my feelings, right? And actually feel the emotion. Oh, hi Darren as well. NHS is the worst place to be now in every way. I mean, it's like 100 times worse than it ever was. I had a lot of trips there years ago when my daughter was kind of, when you have kids, you end up in all sorts of situations. But it was bad then. But God, it's like whatever's going on, and we know a lot's going on. It's just an awful place to be. Yeah. So we're on that track of we've hardly gone into that system, like I said before, right? And it's just this thing that's come up with Michael, so we are going down a whole other avenue. Oh yes, Wisteria, yeah, lots of love to you both as well. So that was what came up. So how I'm feeling, like a mixture, like, let's just be real. So I feel this is how I deal with these things when they come up. I feel like I feel it. Let's talk about that. Like, when something comes in, what do we do when something comes in that does not feel okay? So I worry about Michael when stuff like that happens, because obviously I do, because I love them so much. But then when something comes in, I kind of do both now. I feel like I feel the feelings that I'm having, like I acknowledge them. I never would have done that in the past. And at the same time, I also have this trust that I have got this knowing as well, and it also comes from channeling, and I feel like I'm being mentored like every day with my channel, and I've got this kind of trust in whatever happens, even if it's not wanted. Life's bringing us on this journey, so there are things that we don't understand, and there are experiences we're having because it's part of soul growth. I really fully believe that. I genuinely live that. So I have that, but then I also have the human side of, I don't like this. This is bullshit. I wish it was another way. Sometimes I feel resistant to what comes up, but it's acknowledging that, and it's also giving yourself some space to feel. So what I'm really good at now that I was never in tune with years ago was letting myself feel. So years ago I would have just gone, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. But that isn't fine, because what that does is it's bypassing all the emotions, right? And eventually those emotions catch up on us. So I'm a lot better now at processing as I go, as opposed to, I'm fine, everything's wonderful, yes, keep going, keep being strong, right? So we get to do both. So don't be afraid if any of these feelings or so-called negative stuff comes up sometimes, especially if you're on this journey, because people fear it. And I tell you, the way to expansion and moving through and really growing, and shifting our consciousness and vibration and all those good things, is to feel things, because it releases everything from the body, right? So it's so important. So I try to avoid everything and everyone at the moment. Definitely had those phases. All the negative energy out there. I'm happier away from it all. Yeah, hope he is okay. Yeah, he's doing okay. You know what he's like, right? He's very, very he's very resilient, and he shared a post, so he won't mind me saying this, because he wrote a post earlier, and it was about he's on this process of really letting go of some of the old ways. So he's been so trained in, and some of you will relate to this, right? So he was, he did all these different roles, and most of his work in his life came from completely taking his own needs and putting them over there. So when you're in and a lot of us will recognize this, you could do this as a parent, you could do this even as a friend to someone, you could do this as a, whatever your capacity, it could be your professional role, where we are so responsible, we take our own needs and just chuck them over there, and everything becomes survival, push through, and it comes into being the best for others. And he talked in his post today about being in his power, being strong, but it was really just to be the best at what he did, right? And it wasn't about the self-care, which he's really, really now starting to practice more and more. But he's got, and he recognizes he's got a lot of stuff he's been letting go of. This has been a massive journey. So he's on this whole sort of train ride, which is difficult when you've been programmed into one way, right? So we all have this to some extent, like some area where we're doing it the way we used to do, and we're having to let go of those old, like very old patterns, and we're not taught, are we, like how to really look after yourself, how to love yourself. And initially when I started reading about self-love, I really did think it was cheesy. I hated the idea. I was so out of the idea of self-love. I used to cringe when I heard it. So when I say it now, I know that some people you'll feel it, and some of you might feel resistance to this self-love thing, because it's been made to seem like almost cheesy, but it's the most important thing, and we're not taught that, right? Yeah, so I used to cover and bury all feelings and emotions, but after losing my mum, dad, 5 dogs, 3 cats, and a divorce in the last 7 years, I'm now in touch with my feelings and allowing it to leave me. Yeah, I feel for that. I really feel for you, and I know you've been sharing that, and thank you for sharing that. It's almost like you love cheese. It's almost like life has, this is what happens, life will kind of have these experiences where we can't avoid this, right? So for you, if you're on this journey of getting in touch with your emotions, you're going to have these experiences that are going to come in all the time until it gets your attention, right? Yeah, kind of, you have no choice, right? Because of what you experienced. Yeah, and you are similar. Yeah, he is like me, the protector. You have to eventually let it go and protect yourself. Yes, exactly. So that's what he's doing. So it is. It's always like everything comes back to self-care, self-love. I think every time, in fact, I'd go so far as to say every time I work with someone, and it's funny because people come to me in like different things, right? I have different ways of working, and people come to me for different things in their lives. Quite varied actually, the way I help people. But I tell you, when we connect, somewhere the self-love thing comes up, even if it's a business issue, creativity block, a relationship thing, money problems, obviously emotional stuff, like whatever the area, like mindset stuff, whatever the thing is, we can, it might be about business and creativity. A lot of people come to me with their spiritual businesses. Guarantee you, self-love and belief, self-love, self-belief, self-worth, all that stuff is going to come up. It's just going to come up. It is. I was just stating yesterday how important self-love is, and how I'm still learning how to love myself completely, even at 45 years young. Yeah, and I love that you are. I'm so glad. But I think it's not a one stop thing, right? You know how like I've seen some people sort of go, right, I love myself, like I'm in that now. I find that it's a process, that it's not like, oh, I've flicked the switch on now, I love myself, because it's about loving ourselves through all the different scenarios, right? It's easy to love ourselves when maybe we're growing and we're learning and we're releasing, like we can do that. Is it easy to love ourselves when we're exhausted? Is it easy to love ourselves when we've screwed up? That's the journey, right? Yeah. So I love that you're still learning, and you know that you're still learning, because that's an amazing thing. So many people don't do that. So I just want to give you a big shout out for that, because I love that. A lot of people go through their life and they don't get to that place. So I love that. Man hugs for Mr. G. Yes, I love that. And I hope you don't mind me saying, I'm going to say it. I love that you both, when you interact, like sometimes you've done it on my live streams or somewhere else, it's like, and just I want to just model this for people tuning in, right? Because I just want to say there's a lot of, how I've got this thing about this division between men and women, right? There's a lot of like anti-men stuff. There is right now, there just is. And I want to just recognize, like, you can have, like, look, you can say man hugs Mr. G with a kiss. Like, you can put kisses on each other's messages and posts and stuff. And I love that. And I love to share that, because that's being real men as far as I'm concerned. And I love that you both have that, because there's a lot of misconceptions out there, right? Let me just acknowledge that, because that is the best thing, I think. I'll pass that on to him. I've only recently started to love myself despite everything. Still not there fully, but getting there. Yeah, and it is a practice. It is a practice. Like I would say definitely I can say I love myself. I like myself. I appreciate myself. Yeah, I definitely love who I am and beyond what I do. But there are still moments when I can have that critic come in, right? Or when I haven't done something I really thought I would, or I haven't measured up to something. Like, we still have this critic thing. So yeah, we just get to practice. Yeah, I'm grateful for the fact that there's no more self-loathing. That was the biggest hurdle. Oh, I love that, because self-loathing is, it's a big one, right? It's a big one. And yeah, I feel like you're so courageous by the fact that, well, you've written it here and you've shared it here, and you've traveled that, because that is incredible. That is so good. Just pat yourself on the back massively. Give yourself a massive hug for that, because that has taken focus for you, right? It's taken a decision, it's taken a choice, it's taken practice, and those things are amazing. So yeah, I love that. I'll send you loads of love on that one. Yeah. We know it's right and we know it's needed. Yeah, we are men. Yes, we love as much as women. We are one race, the human race. Feel and express it. Yes, I love that. Love, love, love. Partly why I just don't like this male-female division thing. Like, I didn't want to, like, I know a lot of more women are probably attracted to my messaging and typically my work. But then saying that, I've also had probably about half male, like in the past, and I worked doing other areas, I've had a nice balance of like probably about 50% male clients, 50% female clients. And I remember being at this event and it was a women's event, and somebody said something like around talking about lack of self-belief and limiting beliefs and self-worth and stuff, and she made this comment about, oh yeah, well, you know, men don't worry about this, but women, you know, we have this problem. And I remember really feeling that, and I said to her, like, really lovingly, and I said to her, actually, so you might be surprised, and I said, I have about 50% of my clients back then were male clients. I said, and you know, the men that come in and work with me, they have just as much emotional stuff as we do as women. It's like there's literally no difference. How they express it maybe could be different, but then that's kind of true for humans. No one woman expresses in the same way. So I kind of had to voice that, because there was this belief that, like, men don't worry about their looks, or men don't worry about their weight, or the way that women do, and it's not true. Like, really, I think it's a human thing. I think it's the human condition. So if you're a man watching this, and later as well, like, know that there is a space here for you, right? There's a space here for you to do this kind of, you know, looking at yourself, your inner world, because it's a human condition. So it's totally allowed. Yeah, men are finally starting to awaken to the spiritual need and desire of what's involved. Yeah. No longer worried of the ridicule like before. I love that. Yeah. I think there's such an expansion happening on this planet as well. And this is where we're going, right? I think it's like, let's just say, like, it's the outdated way now to have this way about you where you're not connecting more. That's very old paradigm stuff now. So we're going to see this consciousness rising. That's the good thing. That's the good thing about what's happening right now. Our consciousness is rising and the planet is massively shifting. I love looking to the future, because I think in, say, like 50 years time, less even, but like I say, 50 years time, it's going to be such a good change, I feel, here on the planet. There's such a huge, powerful shift happening with men and women, you know. So it's very powerful. I acknowledge that I'm far from perfect, and that's totally okay. Yes, it is. It doesn't mean that I shouldn't love me. Everyone makes mistakes, me included, and that's all right. Yeah, and that's part of that self-love, right? It's because some people do self-love, like I said, because they're succeeding, right? I see a lot of that online. People share like, oh, I love myself, like, and I'm good with myself now, but at the same time, they're sharing how successful their life is. Maybe their business is going well. Maybe they had X amount of clients. Maybe they got an award or whatever it is, right? But it's like, okay, great, but tell me how you feel about yourself when you're not doing those things. And I say that because I used to be, Darren's perfect. I used to be, my whole value, you read my book, you'll know, my whole value was tied up in achieving. So I genuinely thought years ago, when I was like a trainee solicitor and a lawyer, and then I was qualified, I genuinely thought that I had self-love, I thought I had confidence, I thought I was good in myself, and I had no idea that my value came from the fact that I had achieved this qualification, and because it took me such a long time being a single mother, it was like a really big deal to me. So of course, that was a big deal. But what I did was I put my whole value into this job and the success, because I was good at what I did, right? So I was successful and I was doing this thing and I felt successful. So I felt like I loved myself. I felt like I was confident. I had a reading, like a tarot, an energy reading from a woman once, and I think I put that in the book. I can't even remember. I think I did. And I went in there all like smiley, hi, like I'm excited for my reading, which I was. And as soon as I sit down, I did write it in the book. And she said, she made a comment of, oh no, like, oh, are you okay? Like, your heart's been smashed to smithereens. Like, wow. And she read my energy immediately. And she actually told me at the time that my self-worth was very low, my self-esteem. And I rejected that. I was like, that is not true. I'm very confident in what I do. I don't relate to that. I don't resonate with that. I couldn't even see it. I was like blind to it. But then later on, when I started having to do the inner work when I was really ill, I realised I had no value. And I only realised that when I lost my ability to work. So there I was, I had to let go of my legal profession. That was my absolute crutch for my value. of course, when I lost it, that was when I fell into this massive depression spiral, because I couldn't feel good about myself, right? It was a really deep thing for me. So I couldn't see it. And it was only when it was taken away, I realized there was nothing, there was like empty, nothing there. There was no foundation. I hadn't built anything, any self-worth inside of me. So I was very, what's the word, like susceptible, right? It wasn't that I had no steady foundation. So I do recognize it. I see a lot of it out there where people are feeling, and it's okay. It's like, it's not a criticism. I'm just observing. But I know some of you might be tuning into this whenever the time is right, and you might recognize this. So yeah, if you do, if there's anything I'm bringing up, you can always contact me, message me if you want to explore how to work with any of that. But yeah, it was like this recognition that, you know, it was something I had to build. But that's why I talk about it, because I know when you build this solid internal belief, love, self-love, self-worth, once you have that, you're still going to have your inner critic messing with you sometimes. I do. Sometimes I temporarily fall for it, and then I realize it's bullshit. I'm good at that now. But, you know, when you start to build that foundation, what it means is that you can feel really good about yourself, and it's not related to the output, because that's what most of us are taught. It's such a big one. You can feel good about yourself just because you're here and you're breathing and you exist. Like, how amazing is that? And then it doesn't make us less productive. It actually makes us more creative, more inspired. And then when we bring in and do things, it's like the icing on the cake. It's like, this is fun to create this. It's fun to do this job over here. It's fun to wear this label and put this shirt on over here. But it's not the reason you have this self-love for you know, self-love. But that's what a lot of people, I think, these days in this world that we're in, probably are missing, you know? Because we're pulled out. Social media pulls us out into filters and what someone's doing and what they're doing over here and what they're doing over here, and we don't build it internally. So that's what I always do with people. I make sure that if we're working together, for example, that it comes in anyway, but I make sure that that's the foundation, because otherwise everything else we do could create the masterpiece of the year, but it won't be sitting on a foundation, right? It's a big one. Oh, let's see. Hold on. The comments are jumping around now. If I miss any comments, I'll catch them after. Why are they not scrolling? Why are they not scrolling up? Hold on. What is happening? Oh, thank you, Darren. My book is awesome. Your book is fucking awesome. So glad I read it and so glad it found me. Oh, thank you. I love that. I'm glad it found you. Yeah, that's what I was such my intention when I wrote this book. I was like, this is I'm going to write this book. And as I learned from Elizabeth Gilbert once at a workshop, and she said, when you write something, you put it out, it's none of your business where it lands, or it's not your responsibility to make it land anywhere or have anyone take it a certain way. It's like it goes out into the world. So when I put it out, I thought, I'm going to let my book reach whoever it needs to reach, right? It will find itself. I had one lady, beautiful soul, book a session with me, and she said she can't even remember how she came across the book. And I thought, oh, that's so magical. The book found her. So I love it. So it's called Above and Beyond, if anyone wants to know. It's on Amazon. Oh, let's see. Something's going on with this today. It's jumping around. Oh. Yeah, often blind at the time. A lawyer shell. Yeah, most certainly. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, you were a security person shell. Yeah. Yeah, protect everyone and hide yourself behind it. Yeah, exactly. We all have it. Sometimes we have the parenting shell, right? We're parents, we have to put our kids first. We can't look at our own needs. That's bullshit. And we hide behind being a parent. We hide behind being the manager. We hide behind being the caring daughter or son, right? Whatever our thing is. But we do have a lot of shells, you know, and armor and things that we're carrying. That's what I really love doing. I love to help people just drop this, or encourage you, inspire you, maybe even to just see what is getting in your way. And the good question is, like, just ask yourself, how do you feel about you? Like, what do you think about you right now in your life, where you are? Because if you ask yourself that question, you'll get a nice answer. And most of us are not where we want to be, right? Because we've always got more. So if you ask yourself, well, how do I feel right now, where I am, current current status, how do I feel? And then you'll notice if things come in, it might be like, yeah, but you should be ... you know? So there's always some work to do. There's always some layers. But I think if we can just, I don't know, I think, what's coming through is like, can you just let yourself off the hook? Can you just let yourself off the hook for everything that's come up to this point, right? We've all made mistakes. We've all said things. Have you ever done something and then looked back and cringed and gone, oh my God, can't believe I said that back then. Can't believe I did it back then. We all have stuff like that. But can we let ourselves off the hook and just give ourselves love? Send love to ourselves back then. Let yourself off the hook, because most of the time we're punishing ourselves for things that we said or did, right? Yeah, absolutely. Good. And that's a key thing. Just let yourself off the hook. That's so liberating. Just let it go. Let it go. Can you just let it go in this moment? Some of you can. The thing that's, and notice when I'm saying it, what comes. You might have a memory, or you don't have to share it here, but it's just for you to feel into it. But you might have a memory that comes in. You might have like that conversation that plays. We have sometimes things at the back of our minds, but can you just let yourself off the hook? I know it's not always easy. Sometimes we need to do a little processing on that, but sometimes we can just let ourselves off and just understand that, would we do it again like that? No. That's the main thing, right? If you know that whatever you did or said back then, if you were given the opportunity now, would you behave in the same way? Would you say and do that thing? No, then that means you've grown. So why not let yourself off the hook? It's such a powerful one. I feel good, better to come. Yeah, the past is not where I live now. I'm worth more than the past. Yes, you are. Yeah, past is just the story, right? It's just the story. Getting really pink. I think I've got a temperature. Again, I felt like this 2 weeks ago, I think, when I would come back from the hospital. The last, I said hospitals. It's all this like horrible energy there. Same thing's happening to me. Yeah, some things I would do the same, but many I would not. Exactly. So you've grown, you've changed, you've shifted. That is the main thing. So yeah, so that is it. Just wanted to chit chat. I like to just see sometimes where the conversation goes. I think we covered a few things there. Yeah, like really rosy cheeks, but I feel my head is really hot right now. I'm definitely not feeling amazing. In spirit, I feel very good though. It's just the physical form. I was saying to Michael yesterday, we were in the hospital, and he was on this IV drip thing, whatever it's called. And I was just sitting on the side of his bed. We were just chit-chatting as always, because we talk all the time, as you know. And I was just looking around and I said, this is bullshit. This whole thing, I said, is bullshit. And I said to him, I feel like I'm from the future and I've travelled back into the past and I'm seeing all this like weird old barbaric stupidness happening. And I'm thinking, why don't they understand? And I was looking at this room we were in, right? And it was just like yellowy, like browny, shitty walls, and that, you know, that feeling of like bright fluorescent light, and there was no fresh air. It was all heavy, and if you can feel energy, you can really feel the energetics in a room, right? So you could, to me, it feels thick. I can, because I'm clairsentient, I feel stuff. I don't see and hear, I feel stuff. So I could feel the energy. It was thick and gloopy, and it was as if there was just like treacle in the air. It was horrible. And I burst out laughing, and I said to Michael, I said, it's like this, it feels like I've traveled back in time. I said, and I can really see, because when I say see, I mean it's like a vision, but it's like a knowing as well. It's weird. It's like a memory from something I haven't created or felt yet, but it feels like a distant memory. And it's like I've got this vision, and Michael gets his as well, of this hospital. I said, and you're lying here, imagining you're lying here on this hospital bed, but only you're next to, instead of this like horrible wall, you're next to this open window. You can see like the ocean or nature outside. The window's open, there's fresh air coming in, there's a breeze. There are really beautiful, the medical professionals and the healers are just buzzing around, and they're beautiful energy. They're kind, they're caring, they're not stressed, you know, and you're getting all the best kind of care. And it includes even like sound healing and energy work and all of the kind of things that are so overlooked right now, because humanity hasn't fully understood. That's really important, instead of just here's a pill, here's a thing. And I had this whole vision, and I just found it really funny. I could almost see it and taste it, and it just reminded me that we are going to shift. Yeah, like an old movie, exactly. Yeah. And I feel like, just want to share that we are gonna see massive change over the next few decades, right? And I really hold that vision, and I feel like me and many others, we hold this vision to help bring it in, and we all contribute in our own way. So even if you're not someone who's going to be into the healing profession, or you're not going to like build the places, you're holding it with your energy, so you're contributing just as much as anyone else. So this is why energy and frequency and our own healing is so important, because we contribute to this way of living. So I had this this whole thing of this vision of, you know, what it should be, and then contrasting to what I was seeing is kind of just made me laugh. It was so ridiculous, you know. It's like made no sense. There's nothing healthy. There's nothing that screams health in these buildings, right? So yeah, and I know that might be triggering for anyone that, you know, maybe works there right now or has relatives there. It's not an attack on anyone I'm talking about, but I'm talking about the energy, and I'm saying that there is much more. It's very limited. Yes, our new world order, not theirs. Exactly. And what's going to happen is things will come in, attempts for us to be squeezed into this artificial way. And a lot of us who've already said no, we're going to continue to say no. Because we're saying no, we're going to have no option, but in a good way, to create over here. And that's how we create our new frequencies, new earth, whatever you want to call it. But it's certainly not that program that's been planned out, right? The agendas and all the plans for 2030 and beyond, right? We're not, like, I'm certainly not. I'm so solid in that. I don't care what I see and what comes through. I'm not plugging into that. I know that many of you are not. So exciting times, right? But yeah, sometimes we've got to just see some of the bullshit first, right? And allow ourselves. And actually, the more, again, going back to the self-love, the more we love ourselves, the more we release as much as we can. That's the key right now, is releasing as much as we can from our past, releasing as much and letting go of as much as we possibly can from what came before, because that means that we align with more and we can allow more in. It's just the most beautiful thing. Yeah, the Matrix can do one. Exactly. Exactly right. You can absolutely do one. We are not here for that. So thank you for being here. Yeah, and we do it together, right? And just for, you know, sometimes we do feel maybe we're a bit alone in this. You know, a lot of us are in situations where we're not necessarily connected with others. Maybe we are a bit isolated right now. I feel more that way right now. Kind of happily so. Kind of in that hibernation mode, but definitely, you know, we want to connect as well. We want to expand. So there'll be times for that as well. You know, more connection. And who knows where we'll be called to be, right? There's so much shifting. So that is it. So I'm going to go. I'm going to rest my throat. I could carry on talking, but I'm going to rest my throat and cool myself down, because I'm really hot now. Yeah, I'm going to see if Michael's all right. He's just chilling out now. He's doing okay, but yeah, it's still, you know, still hard when you've got a loved one who's not feeling so good, and you want to just make sure they're okay. Thank you, Darren. Your streams are really uplifting and awakening. Thank you. That is the whole purpose. So I wanted to just be real, you know, and like I said, I don't want to come on here and go, hi everybody, everything's so magical and wonderful, and you know, it's like, no, well it is, but also there is some real stuff going on as well. So I want to be very real. Yeah, no pretending. We feel good. If things come up, right? So thank you, Wisteria, sending lots of love to you, right back at you as well. So I'm going to go. So thank you if you're here with me, both of you here, and thank you if you're watching the replay as well. So feel free. And just to remind you that I dropped some Black Friday. I was like, what day wait? Black Friday offers. They're a day late. I was supposed to share them yesterday, but with the hospital and everything, it didn't happen. So I shared 3 Black Friday offers. So if you're on my email list, you would have got an email from me earlier. You can also check out my Facebook page. It's on Instagram. If you're on YouTube and you want to know, just check out either Instagram or Facebook or my email list if you're on it. And if you're not, just head to my website or just message me, whatever, just ask me. because those offers, got 3 offers. What are they? 25% off laser focus channel sessions, 40% off, what did I say? Oh yeah, Starseed activation session, and 50% off life business expansion package. So I'm very excited to share those for any of you that feel called. So offers expire on Monday. But like I said in my post, I know there's like a bombarding of offers and craziness at the moment. So as I said in my message, it was like, just tune in. If they feel good to you, wonderful. If they don't, that is absolutely fine. I don't like doing that pressured bullshit. It doesn't align with me, but I did want to share something for this weekend, so you can check those out. So that is it. I'm gonna go and cool down, and thank you for receiving the messages. Yes, and I send you lots of love always. And yeah, look after yourself, love yourself no matter what, even when things are not going right. Just see if you can, see if yourself, give yourself a bit of kindness, a bit of compassion, and work your way up to even just start with liking yourself. That's what I did. All right. So I will see you tomorrow, or I will share a live stream tomorrow of some kind, right? Take care. I'll talk to you soon.